Have you been having a bad day, overthinking, or just need something to focus on so you can fall asleep? Well, let me provide a distraction. ASMR. Hercules and the Wagoner. A carter was driving a wagon along a country lane when the wheels sank down deep into a rut. The rustic driver, stupefied and aghast, stood looking at the wagon and did nothing but utter loud cries to Hercules to come and help him. Hercules, it is said, appeared and thus addressed him. "Put your shoulders to the wheels, my man. Goad on your buttocks, and never more pray to me for help until you have done your best to help yourself, or depend upon it, you will henceforth pray in vain. Self-help is the best help." Very similar to God helps those who help themselves. I feel Hercules is an odd person to pray to in this situation, but I can't think of someone else I would pray to, so let's move on. The ants and the grasshopper. The ants were spending a fine winter's day drying grain collected into the summertime. A grasshopper, perishing with famine, passed by and earnestly begged for a little food. The ants inquired of him, "Why did you not treasure up food during the summer?" He replied, "I had not leisure enough. I passed the days in singing." They then said in derision, "If you were foolish enough to sing all the summer, you must dance supperless to bed in the winter." This is also a very popular story, I feel like. The industrious ants and the irresponsible grasshopper. I watched so many shorts as a kid that were based on this, and I don't know why. It's kind of a wild story if you think about it, because ants, when we think about them, are group creatures, and a grasshopper, I feel like we don't think about them as being in groups. So it's like, why didn't you as an individual prepare as well for the winter as we, a group, did? Like, I know that's not what it's trying to go for, but I don't know. That's where my brain goes. The next is the traveler and his dog. A traveler about to set out on a journey saw his dog stand at the door, stretching himself. He asked him sharply, "Why do you stand there gaping? Everything is ready but you to come with me instantly." The dog, wagging his tail, replied, "Oh, master, I am quite ready. It is you for whom I am waiting." The loiterer often blames delay on his more active friend. No notes. The dog and the shadow. A dog, crossing a bridge over a stream with a piece of flesh in his mouth, saw his own shadow in the water and took it for that of another dog, with a piece of meat double his own in size. He immediately let go of his own and fiercely attacked the other dog to get his larger piece from him. He thus lost both That which he grasped at in the water became because it was a shadow, and his own because the stream swept it away. The Mole and His Mother. A mole, a creature blind from birth, once said to his mother, "I am sure then I can see, mother." In the desire to prove to him his mistake, his mother placed before him a few grains of frankincense and said, "What is this?" The young mole said, "It is a pebble." His mother exclaimed, "My son, I am afraid that you are not only blind, but that you have lost your sense of smell." This one feels less like a lesson and more just a story in general. Like, this poor mole has lost his sense of smell, and I don't know. I don't know what the lesson is here. The herdsman and the lost bull. A herdsman tending his flock in a forest lost a bull calf from the fold. After a long and fruitless search, he made a vow that if he could only discover the thief who had stolen the calf, he would offer a lamb in sacrifice to Hermes, Pan, and the guardian deities of the forest. Not long afterwards, as he ascended a small hillock, he saw at its foot a lion feeding on the calf. Terrified at the sight, he lifted his eyes and his hands to heaven and said, "Just now I vowed to offer a lamb to the guardian deities of the forest if I could only find out who had robbed me. Now that I have discovered the thief, I would willingly add a full-grown bull to the calf I have lost, if I may only secure my own escape from him in safety." Here we go, a classic. The Hare and the Tortoise. A hare one day ridiculed the short feet and slow pace of the tortoise, who replied, laughing, "Though you be swift as the wind, I will beat you in a race." The hare, believing her assertion to be simply impossible, assented to the proposal, and they agreed that the fox should choose the course and fix the goal. On the day appointed for the race, the two started together. The tortoise never for a moment stopped, but went on with a slow but steady pace straight to the end of the course. The hare, lying down by the wayside, fell fast asleep. At last, waking up and moving as fast as he could, he saw the tortoise had reached the goal and was comfortably dozing after her fatigue. Slow but steady wins the race. The pomegranate, apple tree, and bramble. The pomegranate and apple tree disputed as to which was the most beautiful. When their strife was at its height, a bramble from the neighboring hedge lifted up its voice and said in a boastful tone, "Pray, my dear friends, in my presence at least cease from such vain disputings." The Farmer and the Stork. A farmer placed nets on his newly sown plowlands and caught a number of cranes, which came to pick up his seed. With them he trapped a stork that had fractured his leg in the net, and was earnestly beseeching the farmer to spare his life. "Pray save me, master," he said, "and let me go free this once. The broken limb should excite your pity. Besides, I am no crane. I am a stork, a bird of excellent character, and see how I love and slave for my father and mother. Look, too, at my feathers. They are not the least like those of a crane." The farmer laughed out loud and said, "It may be all as you say. I only know this. I have taken you with these robbers, the cranes, and you must die in their company. Birds of a feather flock together." I'm sorry, is this where we get that phrase from? That's kind of wild. I don't know how to feel about that one. The Farmer and the Snake. One winter, a farmer found a snake, stiff and frozen with cold. He had compassion on it, and taking it up, placed it in his bosom. The snake was quickly revived by the warmth, and resuming its natural instincts, bit its benefactor, inflicting on him a mortal wound. "Oh," cried the farmer with his last breath, "I am rightly served for pitying a scoundrel. The greatest kindness will not bind the ungrateful." Okay, well, I was going to stop, but that's really sad. so I'm gonna do a couple more. The Fawn and his Mother. A young fawn once said to his mother, "You are larger than a dog and swifter and more used to running, and you have your horns as a defense. Why then, O mother, do the hounds frighten you so?" She smiled and said, "I know full well, my son, that all you say is true. I have the advantages you mention, but when I hear even the bark of a single dog, I feel ready to faint and fly away as fast as I can. No arguments will give courage to the coward." Okay, but hounds usually have humans following them, and the humans usually have long range weapons, so she's not a coward, she's smart. But whatever you say, Aesop. The Bear and the Fox. A bear boasted very much of his philanthropy, saying that of all the animals, he was the most tender in his regard for man, for he had such respect for him that he would not even touch his dead body. A fox, hearing these words, said with a smile to the bear, "Oh, that you would eat the dead and not the living." Okay, maybe two more. The Swallow and the Crow. The swallow and the crow had a contention about their plumage. The crow put an end to the dispute by saying, "Your feathers are all very well in the spring, but mine protect me against the winter. Fair weather friends are not worth much." The Mountain in Labor. A mountain was once greatly agitated. Loud groans and noises were heard, and crowds of people came from all parts to see what was the matter. While they were assembled in anxious expectation of some terrible calamity, out came a mouse. "Don't make much ado about nothing. I thought this was going to be a volcano situation. I think that's good for today. I have to go think about how a mountain was apparently groaning and how people should have apparently not been concerned by that. I hope you have a wonderful night or day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.